The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here. Right here, and when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for
you. This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Oh, I don't know what happened here, but
are we there?
Are we live? Yes, we are live. Okay. Well, hello, my listening and viewing friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the classroom, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide natural ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening and viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. And when health coach, chef, and author Andrea Beaman is in the classroom, there's going to be extra energy today because we are going to be talking about health freedoms. What does that mean? Why are we willing to give our freedom away in order to receive some perks or be accepted? I have no idea why we would do that. But, Andrea had her own health crisis a while ago. And that health crisis turned into a passion for her to help others heal naturally, use integrative means functionally. She's able to share her opinion and research, and then it's up to us to decide what we want to do. And that is what we want to talk about here, is that freedom of choice, to be able to choose what we want. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am so grateful that Andrea Beaman is here to do just that. Welcome back, Andrea. I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Oh, hi, Lillian. It's been too long. Long.
It has been too long. And every time we get together, we say, we're going to do something. We're going to do something. We're going to make it. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. So share a little bit about your background, because we do pick up new, subscribers and new people that are joining us at the beginning and middle and the end, whatever it is where they're at, and they may not know who you are. Can you just share a little bit about your background and why you're so passionate about what you do?
Oh yeah, totally. So when I was 28 years old, about 100 years ago, I was diagnosed with hyperthyroid, plus I had a very large goiter. And my doctor had recommended that I take radioactive iodine and then be on Synthroid for the rest of my life. And little red flags went off for me. And I was like, I don't want to take a medication for the rest of my life. And I saw what radiation did to my mother when she had breast cancer. So I'm going to say no on all of that. And I changed my diet and my lifestyle instead. And my condition started to change. My body started to shift. I went from standard American diet with tons of coffee and sugar and stimulants all day, and junk food. All right, I worked at MTV, so it was like M&Ms and chips and pizza every day, to like wholesome foods, natural foods, clean, naturally raised, like a totally different experience. And my body started physically changing. It took about 1.5 years for my goiter, which was very large.
Amazing.
It was really large, to go away. And throughout that 1.5 years, my body just kept changing and changing and changing and changing. And I started sleeping at night. That's what my little goiter looked like. See my neck?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like my friend Lisa used to say, oh, here comes the neck. Right? Because I walk in the room, my neck would come into the room first. And in that 2-year period, a year and a half to 2-year period when I was healing, my body just kept shifting. And every time I went back to the doctor, a new doctor each time, Lillian, because I had health insurance at the time. I haven't had health insurance in 25 years. But so I just kept going to different doctors. And each time I went to a different doctor, there was 4 in total, I got a different diagnosis. So first it was the hyperthyroid and the goiter, and you need to take this medication. And then it was hypothyroid, and you need to take this medication. And then it was Hashimoto's thyroiditis, right? So it just kept flip-flopping all over the place. So their perception of what to do for my condition was to just keep suppressing the symptoms. Whatever symptom came up, just keep suppressing that symptom. And let's just try and find the balance, right, by suppressing the symptoms. But that's modern medicine, right? But ancient medicine, or what I've learned about alternative healing and alternative medicine, is to listen to the symptom. Why is the body out of balance? What is the body talking to us? What is it saying to us? What do we need to shift, either with our diet, our lifestyle, or our consciousness? What needs to shift? And that was the greatest blessing for me, because I haven't been beholden to the medical profession, the modern medical establishment,
Yes,
since 1996,
wow.
right? So when the thing happened in 2020, I didn't have the fear that everybody had. They were all afraid of everything. Oh, this is going to happen. And I've been out of that system for a long time. So I know that it's a fear-mongering system.
Mhm.
You know, before the 2020 big C, the other C, cancer, was the biggest fear-mongering disease, right? You get a cancer diagnosis. Oh, you got to get the radiation. You got to get the chemotherapy. You got to do all this stuff, right? And it's an idea, I think, that has fear at the base. So it's not really healing. It's more like do this or die. And I don't think that promotes healing in any way. So that's my story in a nutshell.
I love it. I love it. And I have to tell you that before you came on, I went into my resources, and I have all these beautiful books from Andrea Beaman, Happy Healthy Thyroid, The Whole Truth, Eating Guide. It's green, so I can't show this one too well, but you love green.
I love green.
I love green too. Health is wealth, which I truly believe. I do believe that, you know, I've said before that I have been blessed in so many ways, but when I look at blessings, I don't look at the good fortune that people talk about. I'm blessed. I believe that part of the blessing was going through the trials, going through that goiter. And I have to tell you, when you were showing your goiter, when you were talking about your goiter, I always think of this woman. I used to work in the healthcare industry for working with the elderly, the home health industry. And there was this woman, and she was so sweet. And her goiter was the size of the head of a baby. It was out to here.
Wow.
And when I asked her, because she became very close to me and I became close to her, when I asked her about her goiter and if she ever thought of doing something about it, she looked at me and petted it, and she said, "But this is my friend."
Ah.
And, you know, we all need to, and I guess we all get to embrace some of the things that happen, but sometimes we embrace the fear much quicker than we embrace the natural, the holistic, the alternative, the integrative, whatever that is for us, that we don't have to buy into it. I bought into you know, I know people that don't have a thyroid. I know people that and myself, I had tumors on my uterus when I was in my 40s. And the first thing they said is get it out. And of course I said, great, I don't want to have a period. We don't go beyond, we don't know our body as well as we know our car owner's manual. And so, so let's talk about some of these shifts, because now you are a health coach. You've been doing this for a long time.
Yes, since 1999.
Yeah. Have you seen a shift in people since what happened in 2020?
Oh, yeah. I think that 2020 was a wake-up call for a lot of people. You know, like they followed the science, I'll call it pseudoscience. They followed the narrative, and then they started to question, wait, this doesn't make any sense. Like, this doesn't make any sense. You know, I have friends and family that lined up and now they're like, it didn't make any sense. I don't know why I did it. Right. So I think that it was a huge wake up call to that something's amiss, that there's an entire industry that is profit over people. And, you know, medicine should be, like the word medicine, to bring back to the center, right? To bring back to the middle. But this is what we have today, unfortunately. And I'm not talking about trauma. I think that modern medicine is amazing at trauma.
Oh, of course.
But when it comes to prevention and healing of disease, they're in the dark ages, like they're medieval, like dark ages, put you into a rack and stretch you, you know, like that kind of stuff is what I envision, you know, torture chambers. Like when I think about the cancer wards, like torture chambers, that's what I think. And I think that what happened over the past 3 years, people started to question, is this really the truth? Do I really need this? Why do I need this? Why do I need to get this to go back to work? I'm well, you know, or I already had the condition, right? I remember when on social media, when I had the condition, let's just call it the 2020, the 2020 condition. I had the condition and I healed naturally. And I had what was called natural immunity, right? My B cells now have this natural immunity. It was, they talked about it in studies that were done in the Nature Journal, which is a widely respected medical journal. And they talked about the strength and the duration of the B cells and natural immunity. And when I had my podcast and I spoke about this natural immunity, and on blogs and articles that I write, I was censored. I was censored on LinkedIn. I was censored on Instagram, right? I was censored. And I'm like, why are they censoring this? This is a natural part of the body's physical process. You get a condition or you get a disease and your body starts to the body is brilliant.
Trying to protect us. Yes, it's trying to protect us.
It starts to go into what it does best. Let's get that immune system kicking in. The acquired immunity, right? Innate immunity, acquired immunity, they all come to the forefront. And it was censored. So the more people got censored, I think the more it woke people up. Like, why was Joe Rogan censored, right? Why were some of the comedians censored, you know, over the past 3 years? So I think that the more that they tried to shut people up, the more people questioned what's really going on. And then, of course, Lillian, there's an entire herd of people that don't want to see and don't want to know, and that's their choice, right? They don't want to know that they can heal themselves. They don't want to know that they can protect, that their body will protect them. They don't want to do anything differently. They don't want to change. They like going through the drive-through in McDonald's every morning and getting their little Mickey muffin and a coffee, right? That's their choice, and that should be their choice. Just like my choice is to go to the CSA, right, and pick up my box of vegetables, to go to the Amish farmers and get my eggs and my milk and whatever else I want, right? That's my choice. I don't want to have to be put into a system, right? This is the freedom. I don't want to have to be put into a system where having the crappiest food in the world is my choice. That's not for me. So I think that there's a big shift that's happening, a big shift. It's almost like the world is being divided.
No, it's you know what? Yes. But it's been divided since the beginning of time.
Yeah,
since the beginning of time. The crucifixion wasn't the majority of the people. It was the minority of the people. And if you think about it, you know, back then, Jew, Gentile, women, male, gay, straight, they just take the 99%, right? Because we are the 99%. And they keep dividing it so that we go from 90 to 50 to 40 to 20 to 10 to 1. And now we are controllable.
Oh yeah, when you're divided, you're controllable. But when
We're
you're
controllable.
when you join
Yes.
together, you're an immovable force.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why I ask everybody to share this video too, because we are much stronger than the algorithms. Yeah, I'm telling you something right now. I've had 13 videos removed from YouTube this year alone. 13 videos. And most of them have been from 2017, 2018.
No.
Yes. And one of them, I was given a strike for something that was published in 2019 or 2020.
Oh my gosh.
And of course, when you go and dispute it, by the time you hit send, the denial comes back. So it's not even being monitored. So it is about, you talked about the community, and that fear of losing community. If I don't do what everybody else is doing, then the mob is going to ostracize me and throw stones at me. And we've read about that in the Bible already. So that was a real thing that happened back then, and it could come back. And it has come back with social media. We don't have to throw a stone at you. All I have to do is call you a name. That's it.
Right.
That's the stone
And you get
throwing of
canceled.
modern day time,
Yep.
So, think about it. So that's how they control us, is that I want to belong. And I want to belong to the popular, but it wasn't. It wasn't, because even people who thought something was wrong, they went and stood in line, because they felt that if they wanted to see their grandchildren, if they wanted to work, if they wanted to enjoy travel, if they wanted to do anything. So it's manipulation and control. We do know that. And I don't even know if this show will be able to remain in YouTube or Facebook, but we're being very careful about what we're saying today, because we want people to understand that there is something going on. And the best way we can stop it is by putting our foot down and saying, heck no, heck no.
Yeah.
We demand a freedom of choice to know what's really going on. So with that in mind, when you're saying all these things and you're being censored, and I mean, I couldn't imagine anyone like you being censored. I mean, I thought that we're just taking it on me, but they did it on everybody.
Yeah, they did on everybody.
Did you see division within your friends, your family, even the people who would follow you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Throughout my 25 years doing this, I've been called a quack. I've been called all this stuff.
Oh yeah, good job. That's good job.
Yeah, I know. So I got my finger on the pulse.
Yes.
But this specifically, I'm not a political person. Like I don't buy into politics. I think all the politicians are paid off at some level, but
and selected.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But there was such a political divide. Like anytime that I would post up something about health and wellness, they'd be like, "You're a Trumpster," right? And I'd be like, "No, I'm really into health and wellness. I don't care who's in office." And I had friends that I'd known for 20 years, dear friends that just completely cut me off and said, "You're killing me." And I'm like, "I'm not really killing you," and I just send them away with love, and hope that one day they will open their heart wider and open the mind wider to be able to see some things. And the same may happen to me. Maybe I can't see something, maybe there's something that I'm blind to. I'm always holding open that possibility. But losing friends, I didn't lose any family members, but I did lose a lot of friends, and an entire half of my people that follow me were like, "Andrea, you're a conspiracy theorist. You've gone off the deep end. I understand that you're into health and wellness, but you better stay in your own lane. You better stay in your own lane, and not talk about the medical profession. You're outside your boundaries." And I'm like, no, health and wellness is my lane, and that's the lane that I've been in since 1999. And I don't go off that path. If something in the health and wellness world resonates with me, in my deep essence, it resonates with me, then I speak about it. I speak the truth, what I believe to be the truth.
Correct.
So with that being said, I actually created a separate community outside of Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn, right? A community where people can connect with each other and share whatever they want without any fear that they'll be canceled. And I could put anything inside that community without any fear that somebody's going to cancel it, right? It can't be canceled because it's a community that I built. So, with every downside, there's an upside, there's a blessing that comes with it.
That's right.
So now I'm creating a larger tribe of people that just want to be free. They want to be free and happy, and they want to make their own choices without being coerced and without being forced. I had my dear friend and acupuncturist wasn't allowed to go to the hospital to see his father. His father was dying until he got. So he said, okay, I want to see my father before he dies, right? So this type of stuff that's happening out there in the world, I think is dangerous. It's really dangerous, and, I send love to all of the people that had to be coerced to do something that they didn't want to do, but they had to do it for their job or their family or whatever it is. They weren't allowed to go to Aunt so-and-so's wedding or something like that. So, I just send them love and hope that they stay strong as the next thing rolls out, because the next thing is rolling out and the next thing is rolling out and the next thing is rolling out. And there's so much stuff, that's just being lumped upon the human population while they are in fear that makes them more receptive.
Absolutely. And that's where I wanted to go. The fear is what controls us. I know that if we were in a theater watching a movie and I stand up in the back of the theater and yell, fire, how much fact checking is anybody going to do? Everybody's going to grab their loved one. They're going to grab their purse, whatever, and they're going to march out of the theater. And that's basically what happened.
Yeah.
It caused the herd to go towards whatever they were fearful of. They're going towards it, which is our human condition. Animals, when you see like a nature movie and you'll see a deer like gently drinking water from the river, and all of a sudden it stops and then it leaves. And of course, you see later on in the nature film that a lion or a tiger was approaching. So in nature, they have that natural instinct that they don't question.
Yeah.
With us, because of all the programming that we've experienced from the moment we're conceived until the moment we take our final breath, because we've been reprogrammed, we don't rely on our intuition. So let's talk about intuition when it comes to like you've said it many times, I listen to it. What is the advice that you give to your clients, the people that actually are clinicians through your programs? What is the advice that you give them when it comes to that intuitive voice within?
Well, I mean, the first thing that they have to do is they have to shut out all the noise, right? So this is noise. Right? The phones are noise, the computers are noise, the media is noise. Anything on the external, including us, we're chattering and making noise here in the world, right? So shut out all of the external noise and go within and go into that space of quiet. And like you were talking about the deer, there is this innate knowledge that the deer has, and humans also have an innate wisdom and an innate guidance, like a GPS system that lets us know what to do. But since we're bombarded externally by so much stuff, most people are confused and they don't know what to do. What do I do? What do I eat? Do I listen to this guy? Do I listen to that one? Right? Take in the information, but don't let it drive you in a specific direction unless your own internal GPS says, yes. That resonates with me on a deep level. I understand that. That calls to me. That is for me, right? And whether it's the right path or the wrong path, as long as you made the decision without fear, you'll learn something, you'll experience something, right? you're going to be driven in the right direction as long as you're listening to that innate wisdom. So you have to shut out all the stuff. And some people do it by prayer. I do it with meditation, right? I get the internal environment very quiet so that I could hear, right? It helps me to hear and understand. It also connects me to my senses better, right? Right. Like the deer, one of the things that the sense of hearing is heightened.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The sense of sight,
Mm-hmm.
right? Their senses are heightened when they're in the wild, so to speak, because there is this potential for death, right? We all have the potential for death. I'm going to die, you're going to die, we're all going to die. So we need to heighten our senses, our innate senses, not the external, meaning what the news is saying, right? What the medical establishment is saying,
Yeah.
what the military industrial complex is saying, right? What the next war we got to be in, right? All this stuff, all this noisy stuff. So get in touch with yourself and your connection to a higher power or an innate wisdom or your intuition or whatever it is for you, and for some people it's God, for some people it's the universe, for some people it's just wisdom, right? Innate wisdom that's living in there. But get in touch with it because it will steer you in the right direction.
Always. Yeah. We trust our GPS, but we have an internal GPS that says, turn left, turn right, you've arrived, and, or take a detour, so we need to trust in that internal GPS that we've disconnected with. So we do have a question on Facebook. I want to share it with you. So if any of you have a question, type in a Q, write your question down, and we will try to get to it before the end of the class today. So Linda says, I met with someone that was to help me with natural approach. Our first meeting was basically an hour of her telling I was sick because I was too empathetic. Her services would be over $3,000.
Oh,
I dropped her. How can I find someone? That was great intuition.
Yeah.
I found. How can I find someone who would treat me better?
Oh, that's a great question. So first, I would get into a community of like-minded individuals, right, that are focused on healing and wellness. And, you could have all types of people in there, but you did the right thing, you sat for an hour and someone told you that, there's something wrong with you or that you're sick because you're an empath and it's $3,000 to work, right? So if you know that you're an empath, right, there are ways to protect yourself for less than $3,000.
I know, I can help them for less.
Yeah. You light some incense, you put a bubble of protection around you, right? There's so many things that you can do for less than $3,000. But get into a community of like-minded people so that you can ask, oh, I'm an empath, or I have this going on. What can you recommend for me?
Mm-hmm.
What can you recommend? And then you take that information, and if it resonates with you, just like the doctor did not resonate with you, the naturopath or whatever it was, if something resonates with you from the people that you are connected with, right, take it and try it on yourself and see if it works. I don't think you need to spend $3,000 for one sitting. Right.
Well, I wonder if that one sitting had tests that were done and all of that. All I can say for me, because I don't know, Andrea, you're probably an empath too. I'm empathic as well. And I did not know that. I grew up as a very sensitive child. I had the classic childhood of an empathic person. And with an empath, we either go the direction of alcohol and drugs, numbing all this emotion, or you just numb altogether with just not having any emotion. And for me, my choice was to not have any emotion. And it wasn't until I started doing personal growth, which I don't know if you know Dr. Lee Cowden. Do you know Dr. Lee Cowden?
No.
So he has made it his life. He's a classically trained cardiologist. And he decided that what he learned in medical school did not support his patients. And so he started looking into other approaches. The man knows from meridians to, just
I
he's
love that.
almost, I would say he's almost not human because he knows so much. So anyway, he has made it his life to train other doctors, practitioners, and to be more holistic, natural, integrative, functional. And so that's what he's dedicated his life to do. And so he came on to the program and he said, Lily, a lot of people spend a lot of money on their body. And it can be very expensive to heal the body. But if you start with the spirit and the mind, the body will heal naturally. Because once you're connected to your mind and your spirit, something happens where the doors open and you start seeing things differently, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
And for me, it took personal growth to be able to see what I see today. It was a journey and it was a process. And I think that once we allow that process to happen, it is amazing how the body will heal. So like he said, once you heal the spirit and the mind and deal with traumas, past traumas and things like that, it is amazing how inexpensively the body will heal.
Yeah.
And so he was just in the classroom a couple days ago. So we talked about that exactly, the emotion and the emotional component of disease. And we saw that whether you had the, what did you call it? The occurrence in 2020,
the 2020
the condition. I love that. The condition of 2020, whether you had the shot, whether you didn't have it, people were afraid.
Yeah.
What if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong? And the reality is that whatever we believe manifests in our life.
Especially if you have an emotion behind it.
Correct. I mean, do you see that in your practice and what you're doing?
100%. 100%. So there's a program that I teach called the New Healers Master Coaching Program. And we cover the organs and the meridians. We do all of that stuff, visual diagnosis, but also the third module in that program is about the emotional body, because the emotional body is having a reaction that is sending out, like in the Western perspective, it's the endocrine system, right? Sending out messages. Oh, do this. Let's get sugar going. Let's boost up insulin, right? Let's digest food, right? You have all of these processes happening, but the emotional body is triggering. It's triggering all of that, right? So I just came back from Dr. Joe Dispenza, his week-long retreat. And it was so much fun. I mean, it was a lot of meditation, but he focuses on the emotional body. And by the end of the week, there were people that come in wheelchairs. They haven't walked since 2017. And by the end of the week, they're up and behind their wheelchairs, pushing their wheelchairs. So it's the emotional body connected to spirit, right? Consciousness. And when you shift and release that emotion of whatever it was that you're tethered to in the past, and you get very clear, then healing starts to happen, right? So even when I'm working with my clients, I always start on the physical body because they're living in a physical body. And if I were to sit down with somebody and say, oh, it's, you're
an empath,
right? You're an empath. You're not really expressing yourself, whatever it is, right? Heart needs to open, right? They'll be like, goodbye, I'm out of here. So, I start with the physical body because they're living in a physical body. And then we look at what's happening in the emotional body. Do they need to release something from the past? Do they need to relax their nervous system, right? Because the emotional body is driving the car in a direction, whether it's health and wellness or whether it's into the wall. So I think that the emotional body is underutilized and it's been exploited by Western medicine. So one of the things I think that anti-anxiety and antidepressant drugs and ADHD drugs, I think that they are killing people's souls. That's what I believe. that if somebody is anxious or depressed or something, their emotional body is telling them, hey, look inside, look, what's happening? Let's go to depression, right? Are you in a crappy relationship? Are you in a job that you hate? Are your relationships with your family members, are they in turmoil, right? What is going on in the emotional body that their depression is living there? What's going on that the anxiety is there? Like so many people had anxiety in 2020, right? Okay, why is it high anxiety, right? Why are all of the things firing like, oh my God, something's not right. Because something was not right, right? So something wasn't right. So they're like, here, take this anti-anxiety medication so you can calm down. And I'm saying, no. Why is all of your ding, 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 why are they all going off? What is going on? What is the environment, whether the internal, right? What is it saying to you? Something is out of balance. Something is not on the up and up here. It's ding, ding, ding. Can you imagine if the deer at the side of the stream, all of a sudden the ears go up and it's like, oh, okay, danger here, danger here. But I don't want to be afraid. So give me the medication to stop me from being afraid. And then that deer will stay on the side of the stream and get eaten by the lion or the cougar or the wolf or whatever's there, right? So that's an example of the emotional body coming up to the surface and saying, hey, pay attention. Something's not right here.
And that is part of our health freedom.
Yeah.
Is to be free to go through this. I call it the white coat trance. All of a sudden we see this white coat and we go, I hear and obey. And the reality is, and we just talked about this yesterday with Dr. Michael Clapper. I say to them, I said to him, we've got to have the freedom to look at our doctors and see that they have the same conditions that we have. Maybe they're morbidly obese, maybe they smoke, maybe they're drinking way too much and they're overweight, maybe even, beyond sick that, we don't know what we don't know. But we look at our doctors and we say, would I want to look like that? Would I want, not a judgment. It's just like you deciding whether or not I'm going to follow the advice of someone who's not living their truth. And I say, we have to have the freedom to fire them. And one of the things that the insurance companies do is they manipulate where you can go, what kind of services you can use. And that's why I don't have insurance either. I have health share. That's what I protect myself with. And it was the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. Well, I made a lot of good decisions, but that was one of them when it comes to my healthcare, because I can now go to anywhere I want and they support that decision for me.
Oh, that's great.
So I think you were in one of the classes that we did with that. We did this. We go back about 2017, 2016 was when you first started coming into the classroom. It's just, I think it was 2017.
You got a good classroom, Lily. It's been around for a long time.
Been around for 12 years. 12 years. This is our 12th year going into our 13th, and things are changing. So I'll be talking about some of the things next week. But before we talk some more about, our health freedoms and ways that we can approach our life, I want you to know that this is a community too. This is a community. I do a lot of free work when it comes to the classroom. This is my free, this is where I give you advice. This is where we talk about topics. You take whatever you want, whatever you choose to do. If it resonates, great. If it doesn't resonate, that's fine too. But when you go to whenyouneedafriend.com, this is where we take 100% responsibility for our life without blaming anybody for who we are or where we're going in our life. This is where we take ownership. If it's happening in your life, you ask, how did I create this? And then move from there, not with blame, shame, fault, or duty, but like 2 + 2 = 4. No emotion to it. And so if you want to start a life like that, go to whenyouneedafriend.com. We also have, when you go there, like and follow, subscribe to the website, like and follow me on all social media, because I do have other social medias that they claim they don't censor. So you can, all that information is there. So I want to make sure, I want to make sure that you know that when you go to whenyouneedafriend.com, we love you where you're at. And it doesn't matter where that is. And we'll meet you there as well. And so one of the things that we're doing now is that we're doing a course with Dr. William Davis. I had mentioned to Andrea Beaman that he's the author of the Wheat Belly series. And he is going to be joining us every Tuesday night from August 1st to September 5th. In this course. It's a 4-week program in a 6-week course. And this is where we're going to build a community of support. And we're going to fix our microbiome. We are going to release some weight. We're going to improve our health in the 6 weeks. And then we're also going to build a community. So if you haven't done so, go to whenyouneedafriend.com, click on to the Super Gut course and join us there. Another thing that we're doing is we're doing the emotion code with and the emotion code and body code all in 2 days. We're going to do both seminars. It's a 2-day seminar with Dr. Bradley Nelson here in Florida. So I want to invite all of you to come, go to the website and learn more about it. That's going to be November 3rd and 4th with Dr. Brad. And we're going to, this is our 3rd event with Dr. Brad, and we're just really excited to bring him to Florida. He hardly ever comes to Florida, but he comes now because of the classroom. I want to encourage you to check out my sponsors and support them the way that they're supporting the classroom. So play around at whenyouneedafriend.com. There's also a Shop Now bag, and in that Shop Now bag, there are Lilly approved products that can help grow the classroom. Just a small fee, a small amount comes to the classroom, but at least you get discounts and products that are Lilly approved from head to toe, even pain management without medication. And then finally, you can become an enrolled student in the classroom. So whether it's $1 or $1,000 a month or a one-time donation or just your time, your talent, your treasure, whatever it is that you can do to help the classroom, it will be greatly appreciated. And so what I would like for all of you to understand is that we have Andrea Beaman in the classroom today. And you can also find her at andreabeaman.com. And so you can join her community as well. So we're here to help lift each other up and be able to get through, because we've gone through a lot of stuff. And if you look at history, you will see a crisis every 2 years. You will see a crisis. And we were victims of the health, the housing crisis. But that caused me to do some deeper search. And that right there, if it had not been for that, I wouldn't be speaking to you today in the classroom. Everything happens for a reason and a purpose. So how do we, Andrea, and is there anything that you're doing or any events that you're planning anytime soon that you would like to share?
Oh, just if people are interested, my Health is Wealth community is the newest, funnest thing. It's andreabeaman.com/health is wealth. And you can learn all about all the stuff that's going on there. I launch new classes every month. About health and wellness, different things, adrenal health, kidney health, heart health, cancer, lung support, we got it all. So they can go over there and check that out. But other than that, I want to really encourage people to get into some form of community anywhere so that when the next things come, like you said, every 2 years, right? They're just going to keep rolling out whatever it is next. And if you have a strong support system around you, it may help you to make better decisions, or at least decisions that are not based on fear, right? So if everybody in the crowd is in fear, then they may all make a terrible decision and all go off, right?
Yeah, and that's why, and that puts a very valid point, and that's where we need to discern if everybody that are in our community is in fear, it may be time to leave that community.
Yeah, maybe a wrong community for sure.
Yeah.
Like you talked about earlier, all the friends that I lost, it was initially I was like, wow, I can't believe it. They know me as a health and wellness person. Here I am talking about health and wellness, and I was like, okay, so if they ever come back, I'm here for them and I'll open my heart to them. If they don't ever come back, I have new people and new friends that I'm building bonds with. I never feel alone. I have to tell you, I never feel alone. First of all, because of my connection. Like I feel like I'm connected to a higher source.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, I was stranded in Colorado last week because all the flights were canceled across the US, right? So I was stranded in Colorado and everybody was complaining on the line. Oh my God, they were so angry and complaining. And I'm on the line and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be stranded in Colorado for an extra 2 days. I'm looking up an Airbnb. I'm looking up a car. I'm like, what's the next hike I can go on? So then I go to Boulder and I tell my husband, I tell my sister-in-law, okay, I'm going to go on this early morning hike to something called the Royal Arch. And they're like, no, you can't go on a hike. And I'm like, no, I feel I'm okay. I know it's cougar territory, but the guy told me it's a pretty well-trafficked hike, I'm not afraid. And so I went on that hike without any fear. Granted, anything could have happened. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. That's when the cougars are out. I'm a cougar.
Hey, that cougar comes to you, you just show him your teeth.
I'd be history. I'd be right back to the universe. But, I did this really challenging hike. I pushed my body to the limit early in the morning, taking advantage of this negative thing that happened. And I had the best experience. And I sent them back pictures and they were like, that's beautiful, right? So even if you're in, let's say, a wrong community or surrounded by fear, if you stand strong and if you stand in your bravery and if you stand in your truth, you could bring that vibration to the people around you.
Yes.
You could bring that sense of well-being and calm and reassurance and love to the people in your community and elevate them and their consciousness.
I love it. I love it. We have some questions. We have some more questions. Let me see if I can get to it. Okay. Let's see. I saw one. I'm scrolling to look for cues. So if you have a question, please type in a cue. Okay. Regarding finding or creating our own community of like-minded, intuitive folks, what's a great way to promote and build a clan, a tribe, a collective? I have an urgency to create a natural community. I would say just do it.
Yes.
Just do it. And, that's the thing. Even in intuitive communities and communities that are bind you with cancer or bind you with, a thyroid condition or bind you with some tragedy in your life, even those communities can get a little vicious. Yeah. I believe that having a community where you're not married to the outcome is very important. Letting people speak their truth and be okay with it. What do you have to say about that, Andrea?
Well, building your own clan, first you have to be a voice, right? You have to have a loudspeaker, so to speak, because how are people going to know who you are and what you're doing if you're remaining in the shadows, right? So whether that is writing about something that interests you or speaking about it or putting a video up about it and then sharing it on the platforms that you're allowed to share it, whatever it is, right? You share it. Share it with your close friends, share it with your family, and start to create those ripples, right? That go out from the noise or the loudspeaker that is saying, hey, this is the community that I want to create, and this is why I want to create it. And I would also add, create it with love in your heart. Like there's so many angry people in the world right now, right? But that's a vibration. It's a different kind of vibration. Check in with the heart center and share in a loving way. And I think that will help to bring people that are resonating at that same frequency and vibration toward you, right? Like attracts like.
Very, very true. Very true. I love that. I love that. Okay. So we have a question here. Where can I find more about emotional component of your program, Andrea. I don't want to become a healer, but think I have issues with past trauma and stuff.
Well, I mean, Lily has an emotion code program that's going on.
Yeah, that's going
Right?
to happen November. Also, I have the super gut, which the super gut, that's, that helps introduce healthy microbes into the gut that might help with the, well, actually, as a certified life coach, I help people all the time with that. As a matter of fact, do you know who Mona Lisa Schultz is, Andrea?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
the
took her.
psychic.
Yeah, well, she's a medical intuitive. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it, a medical intuitive. So I took that course, and when you were talking about some of the things that you're doing, that is so important. I mean, I would say that along with other things to, always trust but verify.
Oh,
Trust
yeah.
but verify everything. But
Well,
the
yeah,
emotion code will teach the body, the emotion and body code that we're going to be doing in Florida is a community. We come together. Last November, we did the body code, and in January, we did the emotion code. But now we're going to do the body code and emotion code all in one. But let me tell you, when Dr. Brad and Jean, his wife, were done, they were like, oh my gosh, this was so special because the love in that room was so palpable. And so those are the things that we can do to kind of like heal ourselves. Andrea, and you also have anything to that for that?
As a health coach, I help people walk through like understanding their chakras, right? The emotional chakras. But also I would recommend if you have the money, Dr. Joe Dispenza. I mean, it's like $2,300 for the week or something like that.
This one's a little cheaper.
Probably like $23.
Yeah. But anyway, we only have about 2 minutes left. When it comes to health freedom, what do you want to leave at the end of the day? What do you want to leave with the hearts and the minds of everybody who is watching or listening today and in the future?
Oh, well, no matter what happens on your journey, right? No matter what happens, if you could dip into that heart, right? Dip into your heart and dip into your mind and connect them, right? When the heart and the mind are in harmony, then your thoughts and your ideas about things, you'll know what's true, right? So if the heart and the mind are out of balance with each other, you may question, oh, is this right? Is that right? I don't even know, right? There's so many thoughts up here. So if you can, I'm a big fan of meditation. And I would say calm your mind as much as possible, dip into that emotional body and get quiet as possible. And whatever decision that you make about your health, whatever it is, it's the right one for you. Don't judge yourself. No guilt, no anything. Just know that you're moving in the right direction for whatever experience you need to have.
I love that. That's great advice. Absolutely. You have to be in alignment.
Yeah.
The same cell that made the brain, made the heart, made the gut. It's the same. And that's why they're constantly communicating with one another. And if we're denying the truth that needs to be dealt with, the body will say, I need to be in alignment with what reality is. And they know the brain is going, no, it's going to be too painful. And the body says, well, if you don't want to deal with that, I'm going to give you something to have pain with, so that somehow we're in alignment. So there's so much that of the body and the mind and the spirit that once we unite with it, it's just the magic. That's where the sweet spot is. Thank you so much, Andrea Beaman, for coming on to the classroom. You can go to find her at andreabeaman.com. Thank you so much, and for helping
Lily.
And please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott and Andrea Beaman wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Good. I love your evers. You got the best ever.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.
Thank you for watching today. Just know that the classroom is here for you. We have Andrea Beaman as well. Let's all work together. We're on the same page. We want the same things. So find what's right for you. Thank you, Andrea, for everything that you do to make this world a better place.